written a book. It was challenging, the first one.
Because he wanted to be in the place of love.
Somebody came up with the idea.
And he was 100% accurate in his prediction.
Selenium, iodine, or calcium, you don't have to know any of that stuff. All you have to be able to do is chew.
Thank you guys for being here. What I'm going to do, this particular workshop is based on worldly predictions, or basically what's going on right now. So I have a lot of information, so I'm just like going to take the first hour and I'm literally going to go over this. I don't know if any of you pay attention or have checked out my website, MichelleWhitedove.com. How many of you looked at it? Oh, good. So then you know my style, that I'm a straight shooter. Lord knows I don't edit the information. One of my girlfriends that I went to school with, she goes, Michelle, that's very depressing. I said, really, no shit. Guess what? We got to do something about it, and crying isn't going to help. So, this is like to get people to wake up and realize, that we are in a whole lot of trouble. You know what they say about, what rolls downhill, right? So, I'm going to go over everything the first hour. And why I was suggesting or asking who's checked out the website is just last week we posted new information up there about not only the election but the economy, just everything. I have so many people that will email and call and say, please, Michelle, give us an update. And with Hillary Clinton, for example, and no, I'm not changing my predictions as so many of them have. I love those people like Bill Maher says, flip-floppers. Right? They make a prediction and then they see whatever's going on. Let me change that. No. I don't think there's any integrity in that. And it ain't over with yet. And I'll leave it at that. And when I give, just so you guys know, this is not my opinions. I took a beat down, I remember when Bush stole the first election, remember? And I went on Alan Combs, and I, went out there and I said, Bush is going to get it. And they're like, oh, you're crazy. And I'm like, this is not my opinion. It's not like I'm voting for him personally. This is what it's going to be. And unfortunately, that is what it was. And then even the next term, another election that was taken. And, I love how, has anyone noticed, what is the problem with Florida? That, it's always Florida. I predicted that Hillary Clinton would win. She'd be the first woman to become president, and that she would run. And no one really thought that she had a chance in hell in even coming out. This is, if you want to get technical, by popular vote with Florida, she had it. Did any of you guys know that? Hillary Clinton had it. However, because it's all rigged, they decided that they weren't going to count Florida, the votes. So therefore, Hillary and Obama struck a deal, and you notice she's behind Obama right now. Now, if any of you have looked at my website, and the blog is the most popular page because it's information that I'm going to go over, I have updated this because people are like, Michelle, give us hope. Tell us what, what Spirit has to say about that. Free will, I want to say this, free will is a very powerful thing because free will, individually and collectively, and you guys are starting to figure this out, can change the probable future, the most probable future. When I look at something, and this isn't like I'm not using this as a scapegoat because I even said to my manager, I said if I had to do it all over again, I'd tell you the same thing that I told you then because that's what it was. And it still may very well be that. And then I got added information with that. I don't know if you guys know this, but in the blog, if you read it, I talk about how Obama would have assassination attempts. Do you guys know that there's already been three attempted assassinations? He has more security and heat with him than the president. I often ask myself, how come that hit wasn't, oh my God, so naughty. I'm not even going to say it out loud, but really, honestly, what he's done to our country is a damn shame. But Obama, he's very inspirational, very uplifting, but the problem is this man, I'll tell you, you have to be courageous because, it's sad to say, but in this year of 2008, people are very prejudiced. I'm sorry, but they are. Whether it is a black man running or a white woman, being that she's a woman, you see what I'm saying? But it's not about color or gender, for the love of God. It is about the best person for the people and the people's interest. And boy, I tell you, we got one hell of a mess to clean up with the deficit, the economy, all these things. So whoever, and war, whoever goes in, this is a heck of a mess to clean up. And, you know, we need the best person for that. So I'm going to go through this information. You all are going to probably go, oh, good God. So, you know, sit down, hold your seats. Hold on to your seats. You're going to go for a ride. And then I would like to take the second hour and give messages. There's not that many of you, so I'll be able to give messages quite quickly. So what I ask of you is to please have one specific question that you would like addressed. And don't say to me when I get to you, oh, Michelle, just tell me whatever Spirit has to say, because I'm going to give you that anyways. You follow me? Let's say I'm with you, and you have a question, and I answer it, Spirit answers it, and I don't edit it. And let's say maybe it's not what you wanted to hear, right? Spirit's always loving. So if they give you a message, like I answer it, you get your answer, and it's whatever it may be, but they have something to say, maybe let's say with health, right? They're always loving. They're going to say, this is what's going on, but more importantly, here's the solution, and this is what you need to do. Hence free will. Act on it. I'm simply a humble messenger. Follow me? So people always say, oh, Michelle, how can you read illness and death, and, you know, because it's a part of life here. It's a part of our life here. And so if it is not necessary or written in your contract and it can be changed, Spirit will address it. It's when they don't tell me that you better be worried, because that means it's inevitable. Meaning whether it be, you know, an exit date or an illness or a loss of a loved one, that type of thing. So when I go around and I give messages, most of you, I think a lot of you know my style. How many of you seen me before? Yeah, so you know I'm a straight shooter. I may even sit down. Forgive me, I'm a little under the weather. And not only am I a straight shooter, but if I don't know, if let's say I come to you and you say, Michelle, this is the question, and look, I don't hear anything, I am not going to make something up. There's no integrity in that. Shame on those that do. I'm not omnipotent. I'm not an all-knowing oracle. Thank God, because that's ego, boy, isn't it? Woo! Oh, Lord, all those that say they know everything, I always say they know nothing. And those that say they know nothing continue to grow and learn and evolve. It keeps us young, keeps us on our feet, and that's the beauty of it. So when I come to you, let's say, Amanda, you're going to ask me a question, a specific question, because I know your lives are not perfect, all right? There's one area there that can be addressed. And then let's say that they want to go on, they have something else. I will tell you. So this is the way I like to give messages when I work in a group. I go down the row, you have your question prepared, and now you know how I work. Everybody straight on that? All right, so you have time to think about what it is that you wish to ask, because I'm now going to hit you with a bunch of information. If I sit down, can you see me? All right? Okay, that's how I am. And I wasn't joking when I said I was a little bit under the weather. But I'm so stubborn. And now I know why God made me that way. All right. Aha, thank you. If there was a bunch, I'd have to stand. Everybody all right? Can see me? Okay. All right, guys, get ready. So we're going to talk about world predictions. And please always check out the blog on my website, MichelleWhitedove.com, because it's always updated. The other thing I want to say, and Shantae, could you stand up and address that? The channel.
Michelle has a new channel on YouTube, and if you go to it, you will see she's going to be doing video blogs, and currently right now all of her TV clips are up there. So it's youtube.com/Michelle Whitedove. And on your sheet, it's at the very bottom center, MichelleWhitedove.com.
Actually, I'm kind of excited about this because I don't have to go anywhere. I can just like this, right, from the waist up, and be able to reach so many. And so this is something that we just got, and it's exciting. At the same time, it's kind of scary. I like interaction on a physical, you know, eye contact physically. Everyone, all this technology, you have to wonder what happens when the power goes out. Right, something to think about. And what about all this online dating? I don't really get that. How do you get to know someone through a computer? I mean, I'm not knocking it for those that have done that and it works, but good God. You know, the reason why we come here is to learn from each other and have these experiences in the flesh and, you know, socialize. All right. Are you all right? Okay, no, I meant you. Yes. Yes, are you all right? Okay, you look like you're, are you cold? Okay, because I feel your discomfort here. So all right, you guys ready? Take notes, or tape it. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Obama for a minute. We'll start with that. And you can thank Shantae because I'm literally going down this, and this has all been up there. Obama, unprecedented upset. Unfortunately, during the last 8 years of the Bush regime, greed, power has taken over our government. Our president has no accountability, not to the Senate, not to the Congress, and not the press, nor the people. If you don't agree, what can I tell you? Take it up with spirit. George Bush is not going to go quietly into retirement. In fact, he loves his position of world power so much that he has a corrupt plan that has been revealed to me. Here are my unpleasant insights regarding our leader and his strategy of undoing our mighty nation. Bush has sold us out, meaning the people. And here we go. And this is what I've predicted. And Shantae, this is all up on the website, right? Yes, under the blog page, which, interestingly enough, is the most popular page. Okay, so purposely the wealth of the nation is being wiped out. I'm sure you guys have noticed that. Meaning the lower middle class, the upper middle class. We have poverty and then the wealthy. The $700 billion rescue package is a deception. Yeah. The $700 billion will disappear and make no impact on the U.S. economy. Ultimately, the funds will not be accounted for, therefore vanishing assets. Everybody with me? Okay. The U.S. economy will crash before the next presidential, help me out here, thank you. And intentionally, the personal wealth of the people is being wiped away, so the government will gain more control over its citizens. As of yesterday, this was when this was $8.3 trillion of wealth has evaporated. This is a fact. There are links also. If you go to my website on the blog page, you'll see the links that will literally back these things up that Spirit has given the information. Again, I am simply nothing more than a humble messenger. I get it, I give it, and it is up to you and what you do with that information. And I'm not always happy about, obviously, what I do get. Yes?
When can we ask questions? As you go along? Or?
Yeah, let me bang this out, and then, yeah, make a note so you don't forget, all right? And that's important, you guys. But a lot of, by the time I'm done, I guarantee you a lot of your questions will be answered. Okay. So Glenn Beck has predicted this depression for 2 years. I've predicted it for 7 years. Go back to my first book, She Talks with Angels. Angels are talking. You know, I just said the other day to Shantae Diane, I said, you know, back then when I wrote that book, knowing it, writing it, seeing it, believing it, is very different from physically living it. And, you know, I was given this information, and it just didn't really have the impact that it does now, being in the times that we are. And I thought, God, why didn't I think about that? But I guess if I thought about that, right, or focused on that would have not been a productive way to utilize my energy or my thoughts. We must stay positive. The U.S. economy drives the world markets, so this depression will affect 2/3 of the world. Least affected economies over the next 3 years: Australia, India, some of the South America, China, and Dubai. There are links. You can look this up on the blog on Whitedove.com. With every fiber of my being, I know that there is a major event looming right now, really, literally right now. Either A, the U.S. government plot, which will be like another 9/11, which Bush claiming a state of emergency, thus spending and postponing the election, and self-imposing his dictatorship. B, another stolen election. Well, that's a given, isn't it? Right? So, Lord, guys, we got to band together and make some changes. C, some other huge upset like the stock market collapsing, which, by the way, it will before the new year, before 2009, right at that time. I mean, have you guys been paying attention almost? And I said this a long, long time ago, and you know, honestly, I was hoping we could change it because there is always more, and I must state this, there's always more than one probable future. Three futures. And we, in the present moment, will determine what that will be. Everybody follow me? Being in the moment. Okay, D, which I commented on this a bit, is an assassination. Now, there's been 3 attempts. There is a assassination plan inside by our own government, all the way from the top, people you don't see, that has a hit on Obama. Yes, exactly. You're probably going, Michelle, I paid how much money? You're depressing me. But, you know, guess what? We have to, before we can make any changes, we have to know what is going on. It's knowledge. True power is knowledge and the discernment of that. Don't go home and say, I'd like to just go to bed and never wake up. Be active, do something, you know, take a stand and make yourself useful. I always say, even if, you know, if we can't do volunteer charity work, you know, not everybody can, they have to work, or if you can't give your funds, how about prayer? You know, we can change this by, you know, I want to see all this stuff changed because I live here, we live here, our children, our grandchildren, the next generation. Good God, how many times do we have to do this and go through this? You know, the United States, also with Great Britain in the time of the Holocaust, promised that they would never allow another genocide to occur. And look at Africa right now. This just blows me away. I mean, it's unbelievable. And then E is all the above. How do you like that? Which we talked about in the A, B, C, D, but E, all of the above. This major event will be the catalyst for our government to instate military personnel for martial law. It's already in effect. It's already in effect. Yeah, and that's something. The ball is in motion. I clearly see that riots are already expected surrounding the elections. And I have predicted that martial law being enforced in the U.S. since 2002. Now look at the proof that it's coming. And I give you links, videos, places. All right, we're going to talk about Hillary for a minute. Everybody with me? Got it? All right. Actually, I kind of prefer this nice little intimate group because everybody gets more. Sometimes, you know, you can't cover as much. All right, and this is for all those that keep emailing me. She cut a deal with the shadow government. I still see her in play for the postponed election. So, guys, a lot of people, I have predicted it, and I will not change it because that is what I was given. If I had to go back, I would still give you the same thing. It is not over. This is her mission statement, Hillary. And, you know, I should not say this, but for lack of a better way, the fat lady ain't singing yet, all right? So, it is not over. People are like, oh, it's a done deal. It's not a done deal. You know, we should not make assumptions. Okay. Help me out here, Shantae. Democracy. I'm like, I lost my vocabulary here. Diane. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Say that louder.
Democracy.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay. Is now a delusion. A social equality is dead. A new order of government has been formed within the government. I know this sounds like a conspiracy theory, but trust me, this is why you hear about Britney Spears instead of what really is going on in the world. One that will control the people and their finances. Disregard what the government leaders are saying. They will say anything. Watch their actions. Listen, guys, talk is cheap. But it's what we do that says everything. You know, I love that some of these, and I can't help it, I got to go here. I'm not down there, as you know, in a booth. Because I came here doing private readings and then to do, you know, the panel and do the free lecture and then the paid workshop. But, you know, if you are so world-renowned, famous, why would you have to say that, right? Because if you are that, everyone knows that, correct? It's what you do, living it, being it. You don't have to tell people that. Oh, I'm only saying that because I went down there and I'm like, some of the stuff I read just cracks me up there. And I'm going, good gosh, all right. Talk is cheap. I couldn't help that one, sorry. Okay. Okay, we'll say that again. We'll control the people and the finance. So we disregard what the government is saying. Watch their actions. An American revolution is needed. But most people are too preoccupied with their personal crisis, distraction, which is the plan, so they are unable to cope with joining a resolve against the government. Americans are being divided into two groups, the ultra-wealthy and the poverty-stricken. That's it, two groups. The distant future, as I have predicted previously, eventually Canada, Mexico will join with the U.S. to become the North American Union, and we will move towards a cashless system. A credit/debit system will be standard and all transactions monitored. Those people that refuse the new system will be considered enemies of the state. Everybody with me? There will be many groups which will choose compound living. Self-sufficient communities will increase. Rebel groups living remotely under harsh conditions. Government permission will be needed to leave the country. And when you leave, you won't be able to get back. But I don't know why the hell you'd want to come back if this all comes to be, which, by the way, everything that I am reading, that Spirit is given, is already in motion. Okay? I know. The truth sometimes a bitch, isn't it? The truth sometimes hurts. But, you know, it sets us free. A spiritual perspective. Why? 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 Why is Spirit allowing this to happen? Because we are allowing it to happen, the people. Because it is a wake-up call. To wake humanity and bring us together, this corrupt system must fall away. An undoing must happen before a reconstruction can occur. How can we build on this? We can't. It has to be just like, you know, you wipe the slate clean and you start again. Kind of like the element of fire, right? It can burn you, or it can, you know, rejuvenate, clear the land and rejuvenate. Here's what's important. What you can do, what you guys can do. Don't watch the TV news because it's fear-based. If I watch the news before I went to bed, I can't sleep. And I know this, hence why I don't like to watch it also for another reason, because I don't want it coloring any of the information. I refuse to watch it. It's just, that's something personal. But I don't want to know, because that can sometimes get in the way as you're receiving information. The ego, the mind gets in there and wants to be analytical and say, well, I saw this and I heard this. So even when I read for people, I tell them, please be quiet. Let me earn my money and let me give you everything that I have, and then you can cover your list of questions, and I guarantee you that they're covered because Spirit knows what you need. Okay. So don't watch the TV news. It's fear-based. The fear mentality is not where you need to dwell. During these times, you will be forced to step outside of your comfort zone, outside of the box. Instead of focusing on your personal troubles, reach out to those less fortunate. For example, when I think I have it bad, and then I start my day and I read for people, I say, shame on me. Boy, I thought I had problems. And, you know, it wakes me up. Not only that, makes me realize that I am extremely blessed and grateful, but also diving in and helping others is helping yourself. It's a good way to be, you know, productive, and sometimes even get you out of a depression, or, you know, being that you are in a, let's just say, stress or whatever it may be, or maybe having a little pity party for yourself, and we're all guilty of that, you know, periodically, even myself, which is very short, I might say. Okay, so instead of, you know, let's basically look at people that are less fortunate. The gift of giving will lift your spirits, help another, and raise the vibration of the planet. Random acts of kindness are an important aspect of humanitarianism. Everybody get that? Keep your spirit centered through constant prayer and meditation. It raises your vibration. And know that you have free will and you are the co-creator of your reality. And if we all would do this, not just say, oh, I believe this, I know it, but act on it, we wouldn't have these things that are going on right now. Hence why you guys are here. Keep your spirit centered. That's very important. We each create our future. What you think brings about your future. So keep the blinders on. Just keep striving towards your goals. Right now, it's very important for you to be focused, in the moment, giving 110% of what you have, like driven, but in a positive, productive way. We can change. We can change the future. We can. And if we couldn't, then there would be no hope, would there? We have to have hope. So again, what you think brings about your future. So keep the blinders on. Just keep striving towards your goals. Horses wear blinders to keep them focused and moving forward in a straight manner. Let's just say, have you ever noticed when you try to kind of look out here, you see something, like even with spirit, and then you look, it's gone? Because if you were to look at it directly, most of us would go, oh, good God. And so it's a subtle way. I can give you this analogy as well. Just give me a second here. Oh, distractions. As a spiritual medium since childhood, I get information all of the time, to be honest with you. And some of it I find to be very useless. You know, it is, being that my gifts are diverse, and yes, I read minds, so please behave yourselves. Because if you're being naughty, I'll call you out. Love and light. Oh, and I will. And they call it a gift. Most people's minds are like a sewer, honestly. Be glad you can't hear them. It's the truth. It's like a sewer. You know, and the reason why I'm talking about this for a moment is because, you know, a lot of people will say to me, oh, come on, Michelle, you know, clients, people will invite me out to dinner and things like this after, you know. Now think about it. I work with people all day long. I am, you know, all day long. So, you know, you get a little bit tired. And, you know, my point is like, let's say I go to dinner. And I got Joe next to me, and I don't know, somebody else and that. All of a sudden, I hear what this person's thinking and what's going on, and this one and that one, and I can't even eat, or like it never ends. It's like, can I have an off button? God didn't give me one because I would have shut it off. However, if I tune in and I focus like a target, you know, let's say if I'm, you know, at dinner with my little posse, how's that? And I will focus on them and the conversation. I will hear this background, this noise, right? I still hear it, but I am focusing on the conversation, the people that are with me, and that helps to drown out that background noise. You follow me? So the distractions, right? Imagine, I've done it many years, the Expo down there. You know how, you've all been down there, you know how loud it is and everything. Imagine doing readings, bringing loved ones through, and you hear, you know, the speaker and everyone going on, and it's very, very distracting because you have all this noise, and then on top of that, you're trying to talk to the person that's in front of you about something that's very important to them. You know, their loved one, their health, and I take people's lives very serious. It's not a joke. So it could be very frustrating, hence why I do not have a booth, because I prefer to do it, you know, in a place that's one-on-one and quiet. It's better for the person that's receiving it as well as me. It helps me to tune in even that much more. So you can fine-tune it. So background noise. So now you guys know why you don't see me out there too much, because at the end of the day I'm like, I just want quiet, peace, I need a break. And it's true, it really is. All right, so here's something else. Cut back on your spending. Buy only the necessities. Stock up on your essentials before the prices rise again. Prices will rise again due to inflation. Trading and bartering. Services will be important for the next few years. Give it some thought. What is your specialty? You know, people are already doing that now, bartering, you know. And I have a lot of clients who will say, well, Michelle, you know, well, I do this. Can I give you this and you can read from me? And I'm cool with it. I'm like, yeah, great. If I need it, I think it's a wonderful way to interact. It takes a lot of pressure. You know, that's the way we used to do it. Let's say you need it, I don't know. We'll go back to the Renaissance period, medieval, you know. What do they call those guys that, not iron workers, were they? Blacksmith. Thank you, blacksmith, yes. And you need that, and you maybe have food or some other goods, and you exchange this. And this is what I want to say about money. You know, you think about it. It's paper. Where's the value of it? Paper. To me, it's a joke. It's, you know, we're even going to go back to gold, silver, copper, precious stones, resources, whether that be food, water, you know, fuel, these type of things. We're going to go back to that. That is what's going to have value, and it does. However, before we do that, you're going to see the falling of all these man-made systems. Also, the government now, has anyone noticed that they keep changing the money? Yes. Okay, thank you. Did you think there's a reason for that? And how they have overprinted money like it's monopoly money, hence to flood the market? Have you seen all these commercials on TV where give us your gold and we'll send you cash? Now, who in the heck would do that in their right mind? Because I don't know about you, gold has a lot more value than paper money. Our dollar is what today? Exactly. Pretty much value as far as I'm concerned. We just got back from Italy, and boy, that hurt. The euro is like, it was incredible. I think I traded in $1,000 and I got back less than 600. You believe that? And I remember when I went with the euro to Amsterdam, and it had no value. Our economy is affecting not only Canada, but it's also now starting to affect the old world, Europe. That's a problem. We are not the powerhouse that we once were. China is actually the powerhouse who's tag team with Russia and Germany, and Russia is stockpiling more than they did for the Cold War. Anybody know that? What's wrong with CNN? Why aren't we getting this? And then have you ever noticed when you watch CNN, you just see a little bloop, a little blur, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, and you're like, well, let me catch that. Whoa, gone. I lost it. What was that? That seemed pretty important. But yet what you're talking, yeah, it just blows me away.
What does Spirit think of BBC?
It's better than the other. But, you know, if you really want, like I travel a great deal, and if you go into the old world, I say the old world, meaning UK or Europe, or outside of the country, you're going to get news like nobody's business. They get their news is much more accurate, and they're telling the people versus here. The United States, we're having our butts handed to us. Yeah, and there's an imbalance, and whenever there's an imbalance, something's got to give in order for things to improve. But I know that this is like people go, oh my gosh, this is depressing, and I don't want to hear this. But this is the reality. This is what is occurring. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather know and do what I need to do and be prepared for that. And you're going to see a lot of people start like compounds, communities, families, living with families, because to make it. Our government is actually underground, and their main base now is in Colorado Springs. And they have already set in motion men that they're training to put out in the streets declaring martial law, and they're supposed to be protecting us when in fact they're just really not our friends, is the best way to put it. Our government has known this, everything I'm telling you, and set it up, and thinking that, this is a way to take control, and really just it's a nightmare. But the bottom line is they've actually selected scientists, doctors, people whom they want to go underground, and chosen that. So basically what I'm trying to articulate here is that in these changes I'm talking about, and that will continue to go on, hence 2012, even 2014, You are going to have the people that will abide by their government, by what they set, and you're going to have no longer cash, but like think of it as a card, like a debit card, for lack of a better way, or even a chip, so to speak. And if you comply to that, then fine. You know, and I've even seen, I'm getting a little out there, and I'm going to put this up here eventually, but I've even seen when people riot and then they'll say, oh, you're rioting, so we need to have these men in here from the government to control the people, hence martial law. Then you're going to, it's just a cluster, you know what, it's a domino effect. That's not pretty. But what I'm trying to say is you're going to like be given a choice. Either you're going to play by our rules, me and the government, or if not, then you're on your own. Because even I've seen lines for food, you know, passing out certain things, getting certain things over a difficult period of time. But some people are going to go, no, no, we know you're not really our friends, and decide to, like, okay, for example, go back in history when we had clans, tribes, the Vikings, I don't know, you know, people that would band together, clans. They had war even then, but that's what the people that will not be with the government and comply will then be on the outskirts, so to speak, and have to be self-sufficient. For example, I encourage people, have a natural water resource, have property, get animals, grow some, get seeds. You know, there are seed banks where people have, and they're not hybrid, you know, that you can buy. Grow a little vegetables, you know, fruits, grow a garden, you know, these type of things. You don't even need that much of soil and land to do this. So, you know, you want to have a natural water resource. You want to have some of your food you're growing. You want to be self-sufficient so that you don't have to be where you can comply, rather work with the government. And then people will come together in groups. So I'm getting ahead here. We're kind of going out, all right? This isn't immediate, even though it started, but this is what's going to happen. And then also, you know, people say, oh, the government, war, global warming. It is not just that. It's also the ascension, the shift in consciousness. And before we can do that, things have to really kind of fall away. And then we have to, thank God for our indigo children, you know, create better ways, and our indigo children are here to make that way, that new future. Thank God. Hence, though the government knows it, and hence ADD and ADHD and Ritalin, and which is kitty cocaine and variations of that, because they know that these children are powerhouses and what they are capable of doing, being our next leaders, so to speak. And they're fearless, they're courageous, they're brilliant. And they are so naturally gifted as spiritual mediums.
So what happens to a place like New York where you're in an apartment, you can't really grow food too easily? I mean, you can sprout, but that's...
Get out of the apartment. People think the cities are safe. The cities are going to take a major hit, especially certain cities. Whereas if you're outside of the city, right, you're not going to get it as bad as the people living in the city. Everybody thinks it's good living in the city. Me, I'm getting out of the city. And some people have already gone as far, a lot of Americans have already left the country going into Canada. That's just a temporary fix, because Canada will merge with the United States and Mexico. Australia will be on its own, and then you have the UK. Like I said, though, the true powerhouse is China. China will only let the United States go so far, meaning in their own government, because they own us. And, you know, basically, if they own us, then they're going to say, well, if you don't do this, then we'll come in and clean it up. And you don't want that to happen, because they have more manpower, and they have more, you know, nukes and God knows what, and discipline. And they really could, they're capable of anything. They truly are a powerhouse. And I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not. It depends on how things play out. But remember, there's always more than one probable future. I know, you know, I was for years, I would always invest, in a way, my money in jewelry. And people say, oh, you like jewelry. Yeah, I like jewelry, but it's, you know, in times where I've been through recessions before, the last major recession that we had, for example, I would sell my jewelry for what it was and get what I paid for it and get through difficult times. And so that's something that I don't feel bad about certain though, you know, like certain types of jewelry, shall I say, no, will not hold its value. But gold will hold its value. Certain stones will hold its value. Has anyone even paid attention to the stock market looking at what silver, gold, copper is? It's incredible.
Going down again.
Yeah, the stock market's gonna crash before January, or no later than that.
Any more precise?
How much more precise you want it to be? It's already crashing, and it's gonna crash. So if you know it's gonna crash, then you know some people are pulling out. You know, before it even goes further. What they're trying to do is kind of say, okay, well, we're going to close when it hits the low of the low. We're going to close because it literally will just plummet. And they're trying to, I think, pass a law based on that. But I've said this, and when I was here 6 months ago, it will crash. I told people that. And it will crash here, what are we in, October, the second week? I mean, good God, you're talking about the next few months. So that's pretty precise for you then, timing. We're in the second week of October, November, December, by January. So you're looking at that time frame. And, you know, it's they keep going, oh, but it's going to get better. And then it just plummets each time. And they're allowing that to happen, meaning the government. So it's not a pretty thing. You know, what I say is give it some thought. People that have a gift, like I know so many women, they have a gift with their hands with arts, you know, things that they can make and create. That's something, again, to think about. What is your specialty to trade with? A lot of people are already doing this. So I tell people, invest in gold, copper, silver, gems, and necessities that you can trade. Reverting to the close-knit family unit and living arrangements of indigenous tribes, thank you, that's what happens when you talk all day, is the best way to live. You know, I've seen many times in the old world or even in South America where the grandparents, for example, would take care of the children and they would live there, where the parents would go to work and make, you know, the money that they need, but and all work together as a family unit. And how many women and men are divorced? One, you know, parent trying to feed the children. I mean, that's so common these days. Most people, oh, I'm divorced and I have 2 children and I have to work 2 jobs to pay just to, you know, put food on the table. So it's something definitely that, you know, we can find ways around. So basically, remember in the 60s, they used to say, oh, the hippies, you know, where they would live in compounds, peace, love, and happiness. Well, you know, maybe they had it right. they were very stress-free. Yeah, they're just happy. No, it wasn't just the drugs, I assure you, even though I'm sure that was part of it. But I have to say, I'm pro-choice on a lot of things. For example, pot. I don't understand what the big deal is. For the love of God, it is God's green grass. I've never seen anybody smoke a joint and go kill somebody. If anything, they just go to sleep. You know? It makes them mellow. You know, for good God, legalize it already. You know, yet I've seen alcohol do more damage than pot, and yet it's legalized. Prostitution. Why don't you just legalize it? It's the oldest thing in the world, the trade. You know, clean it up. And all of us know it's going on all the time. So I don't understand. I went to Amsterdam. It's a business there. They've cleaned it up. The girls get checked. They pay a fee. It is a business. And I don't understand. If you have consenting adults that choose to do this, who cares as long as they're not hurting anybody, right? So that's something else that, you know, I think that, what are we, Neanderthals? I mean, Jesus, are we going back to the Dark Ages? We're supposed to be moving forward, progressing. I guess you guys are loving this, huh? You're like, thanks, Michelle. So living together, where everyone works together for the good of all, will be very beneficial. Keep your loved ones close. Work together. Self-sufficiency will be very important. Growing gardens, chickens for eggs, and yes, even cows for milk and meat. We have to get back to the basics. Let me say that again. We have to get back to the basics. That's going to be my next book. Getting back to the basics. 101 for dummies. Sorry, not, you know, just some dummies. Okay, I have some people that are like, what? Oh no, that's not happening. Have you done your homework? I always say, what little bubble are you living in? Shantae makes a joke, my manager, she goes, you're the bubble burster. I'm like, it's not like I'm trying to be this angel or a messenger of bad news, but this is the way that the world is right now. And this lovely planet was created. I say this many times. It was created in the reflection of the first level of heaven called paradise or utopia. It was once that. It can be that again. I'm almost done. I need to get straws. Look at this. I got about how many drinks going there? Look at that comedian. Maybe I'll start doing stand-up. Okay. This economic depression will affect everyone differently. Let me say that again. It will affect everyone differently. Listen, if you're poor and there's a depression, you're still poor, right? They're like, hey, this is the way it's been for me for a long time. But those that are extremely wealthy, billionaires, millionaires, if they lose their money, they are going to start jumping out of tall buildings because to them, that is their life. It defines them. They don't know what it is to, you know, God forbid they have to, you know, I don't know, have a normal meal, not have a golden palace. You understand what I'm saying? They are the ones that really get affected. If the stock market crashes and they lose everything they have, they can't handle it. They don't know what poverty is. So they're the ones that actually get hit really hard in depression, more so than the poor, because they're like, yeah, we're still. And I find this, I don't know, you guys think about this for a minute. I travel all over, I read for people all over, and I read for a lot of people that are extremely wealthy, and they're the most unhappiest, miserable people I've ever dealt with, and the majority. Now, I go, like, you know, to certain places, third world countries, or people that are poor, and they're smiling. They are smiling. They're happy. So maybe we should look at that. I think we should investigate that a little bit. I mean, they are grateful for just the simplest things, and that's a beautiful thing. They don't get caught up in materialistic things. How many darn shoes can you have? How many cars is it necessary? You know, you understand what I'm saying? So, you know, I think they know something that maybe the wealthy, that it seems like the more money they make, the worse it gets. Now, obviously, it's not every single wealthy person, but the majority, they are not happy campers. Okay. Because they don't know who they can trust. They feel like everyone's there, you know, for something. All right, so the economic depression will affect everyone differently depending on your belief system, your strong will, your actions, and your karma. Because think about it, everybody comes in and you have different karma. Not everyone has the same karma. You're going to have different lessons to learn, meaning spiritual contracts, right? Some of you, you've already mastered poverty, so you're like, got that one. So even though you're in a depression, you're like, well, I've already been there, done that, and it doesn't, you know, in your belief system and being that you are a co-creator, you don't buy into it. You follow me? And then there are some people that they need to experience poverty because maybe in the past life they were this wealthy person that was just mean to everybody, and if you didn't pay your debts, they threw you in prison or killed you. I don't know. I'm just using that as an example, an analogy. But it really does it has everything to do with your belief system, what you're doing, and also, more importantly, not only your belief system, but your will, your actions, and your karma. That is going to be a very big determining fact in times like this. Everybody with me? Oh, yes, bingo, amen, something. Are you breathing? Okay. All right. I know, it's hard, but I'm still breathing. Okay, so this, you know, take a look at that. I think that's very important to know. A lot of you, how many of you here know what your mission statement is? That's good. That's very good. That's important. How many of you have gone through, we'll say, a lesson that you think of as a mistake because you haven't learned the lesson, so that's why you call it a mistake? But then you realize, oh, I got the lesson, so you know, it doesn't repeat itself. Okay, like a lying, cheating mate. I got that one. How about you? You know? Okay. So, you know, it's a lesson. But with any issue, any scenario, even if it was just horrible, if you go back to it, and kind of detach from the emotions for a minute, and you look at it, and you go, what was the lesson? Even though it was really not pleasant, you will find the teaching in it and be able to move on and not repeat that, or you know, it keeps coming back, let's say, to get you, bite you in the butt, if you know what I mean. Did I blow it, or is, okay, because normally I blow it out. All right. Okay, so here's it, and then you can pound me with the questions. Let's learn from our elders. If you ask me, of all the people that have come and gone from this planet, Mother Earth, with evolution and humanity, different groups, the Native Americans lived closest to God's truth, the universal laws. They lived it here on Earth. They really had it right. And they've really been wiped out as a group of people, and other groups as well. And they are actually, Spirit refers to the Native Americans as the keepers of secrets, of the Mother Earth secrets. And they are, a lot of times I find, they're in the spirit world, are teachers, the Native Americans, because they were able to master this here on Earth, going back to the basics. They got it. They got it a long time ago. And many of them even were able to ascend. But this is the first time in the Earth's history, evolution, Mother Earth and humanity, that we can shift together. Ascension to a higher vibration and consciousness. Hence why you're seeing everything literally being separated, falling, you know, changing. Listen, change is sometimes for people scary because they're like, oh, I can't control it. Well, control is an illusion. But, you know, change is growth. Change is growth. And growth is important. It's movement. All right, so learn from our elders. If you talk to people who lived through the Great Depression, and there are some people today that's still living, will tell you, they all have their own perception of that. One lady said, yes, we were poor, but everyone that we knew was in the same boat, right? We grew food, sewed dresses, traded goods for services that were needed. The people in big cities suffered worse with soup lines and people committing suicide because of the loss of their fortunes in the stock markets. We didn't have great wealth, so we viewed it as a very hard time, which we would eventually get through. Isn't that interesting? Listen, you know, let's see, what was the end of the last depression? You know, Diane? Trying to think. Anybody know? World War II. Well, yeah, but what was the year, actually? Yeah, it was in the 30s, right? Some people said 20s, but it was like 32. I wasn't know if it was 32 or 34, yeah. I mean, think about it. We're in 2008. I mean, do the math. It's not, there are people that have been through that. And you know what? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Listen, guys, if there's ever a time to find your humor, now's the time. I don't know about you, but I better laugh and cry. And I think laughter is the best medicine for the soul. I will tolerate a lot of crap from people that will make me laugh. I have a friend, and I call him a troll. We have a loving relationship, can't you tell? But boy, is he funny. And I could be down, and I swear he has this way of just saying the funniest, the truth. But just, you know, with such humor that you're literally on the floor laughing. Sometimes when I'm, you know, down, I will literally seek him out, or other people, or even go sometimes to a comedy club, right? Because it's just, it's the best medicine for the soul when times are difficult. It's like it's a natural high. Imagine that, no drugs, right? Laughter. That's why I love funny movies. I have one of these kind of sick sense of humors, you know, in the sense that if somebody falls, I think it's hysterical as long as they didn't hurt themselves, you know. I could tell you some stories, but Shantae back there will kill me. She says, you know, you're mean. I go, I'm not mean, it's funny. You didn't hurt yourself, you know, like a slapstick type of sense of humor. Because, you know, I'll leave it at that. It's always good to have someone around like that that will, you know, keep you on your toes and make jokes and you know, laugh. It is. It really is. All right, guys, let me see. I'm almost done so we can go here. And they're like, good God, thank God. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, so let me say this before I go to your questions and messages. And I think Shantae said it. I have my own YouTube channel. You can watch my TV clips and subscribe, hello, for my upcoming video blogs. And Shantae said it's youtube.com/Michelle Whitedove. Correct? Wow, I got that right. That's a miracle. And also, I still have a few slots, I believe, open for readings tomorrow. I head back to Florida on Tuesday, all right? Tuesday evening. And it's free. So, you know, just sign up. Because I'm very excited, actually, about being able to reach so many people. Think about it. The computer, you can reach so many people in that way.
Will
Now,
the government make that not possible?
oh, no, they will make that more possible because Big Brother's watching. How do you think they watch us? Credit cards, cell phones, computers. They want you to have those things. You won't see me on my cell phone hardly ever. I can't stand it. I don't get it. I mean, I've got to have a conversation in person. Obviously, we cannot always do that. Hence, you know, for me, it's more of a necessity. I'm very short. I'm long-winded now, but believe me, when I'm on the phone, it's very 1, 2, 3. Shantae tells me I need more diplomacy. All right. So with all that, and you're thinking, thanks, Michelle. Let's get some questions. What questions do you guys have? Yes, ma'am.
How do you help your children who are aware of the fear and the crises that are starting to take place? How do you help them through that?
Okay, so you're saying, and that's a good question, how do we help our children through the fear that's everywhere?
I have 4 of them, 23, 21, 16, and 14. And they're all
God bless you, Lord.
aware of what's going on.
Well, kids are not stupid, you know. I mean, actually, if you ask me, I think they're smarter sometimes than we are.
You know, how do you, as someone yourself, as a guide, take them in your hands?
Okay, how we do that is by our example. If I have children, if they see me being fear, then they really get upset because they're like, well, if Mama's afraid, then we're in big you know what. So it's very important to have a very strong foundation, you know, backbone, and always be courageous and positive. And you know that expression, take sour lemons and make sweet lemonade. Love goes a long, long way. The most important thing, and what the lesson is for all of us really, is love, unconditional love. Not love based on how much money you have or how pretty does she look, but unconditional love. And when we give our children unconditional love and we set an example to them by the way we live our life, and we spiritually educate them and say, oh, it's not just their imagination, hence my children's book, My Invisible Friends, which is about their guardian angels. And to be positive and to speak to them, to communicate with them, and not keep them in the dark, because they're not in the dark, to answer their questions honestly, to listen to them, to comfort them, you know, to pray for them, to try to keep them away from negative things, people, places, or things, you know. I always, with my boys when they were growing up, I always would look who was around them. Their circle of friends would tell me a great deal. And, you know, it is in praying for them. I know even last night I had a difficult time sleeping. And when they were younger, they didn't watch a lot of TV. And if they did, I would monitor what they were watching. And what about those stupid video games that are so violent? You know, everywhere we have violence, that our children have become desensitized to this, thinking that this is totally normal and acceptable. And it's not. So, you know, but we also have to take into consideration that our children have their own karma and their own lessons to learn. And all we can do is be there for them and you know, support them and try to counsel them. But they have to figure it out for themselves. And sometimes they're our teachers, and they help us through times. But it's really time for us really to band together and come from love. Unconditional love is a powerful, powerful thing.
He's
like, oh, wait.
Can you actually repeat that? Yeah, well, hold on one second.
Okay, so what I was saying is unconditional love is the most powerful, powerful thing. Spirit says, when I say, what is this about down here on earth? They say love, unconditional love. You choosing to come from unconditional love. You choosing grace, a state of grace. You choosing to live your life like a prayer. Not just saying, oh, I believe these things, I know these things, but you live it. And when you live it, you've passed the test. You don't need to be here anymore. And there are some people that are here, some souls that are here, not based on their own personal soul's growth. They've already done that. But they're here for others, to be teachers or light workers, to help us shift and to help younger souls and to set an example on a larger scale. But to be a good mother and do the best that you can. And, you know, and to be honest with them. I don't think that it's a very, you know, I see some parents where they just try to keep their kids in the dark. But what happens is they grow up and then they don't know how to function in this world socially, you know, or in school. And we didn't help them. So, you know, yes, we want to protect our children, but we need to educate them. Education is really the key. Basic, it's just like we're sent to school to learn how to read and write and these type of things. But what about a spiritual education? To me, that right now is more important than anything. That's why I do the things that I do. Click, clock, here come my heels down the pavement and everywhere, is to get this out there to the people. I mean, when I started, you know, in book signings, I remember when my first book, I was lucky to have like 30 people. You know, these days the crowds are there and they're like, yeah, what the hell is going on? And give us some tools and you know, and let's try to fix this. So people are waking up, and that's, the faster that you guys wake up and apply these things and live it, then we can change this nightmare. Hell, where's hell? This is it. And it was our choice individually and collectively that we created it. And sometimes even unconsciously. Sometimes we do things unconsciously that are not positive. That sometimes somebody, if they really love us, tough love, they'll say, hey, look what you're doing. You know, to, you know, my spiritual family, again, I'll call them posse. I always say to them, keep me in check. If you see an ego there, I didn't want to tell you what I told them. Take your highest heel and you know what with it, okay? Knock me in the head, because ego, you just fall from grace. That ego is a monster, boy. And it's something that really doesn't have any place in what I do. Any other questions? Well, you're a lively bunch. Are you stunned? Yes, you a little bit. Well, then please, questions. Yes?
Yes. What will happen to the medical care if we go into that state of siege?
Well, that's a very good question. Thank you. So what will happen to the medical care? Well, the government will dictate and still control as far as Western medicine is concerned. However, those that don't comply later on, remember, I'm coming out a little bit here in the future, that, or let's say that we're rebels, okay, those that we band together and we're not agreeing with what the government's doing, we will have to go back to the old ways. You know, more of holistic healing, knowing the herbs, the medicinal purpose, knowing healing, meaning as we raise our vibration spiritually, we know that we can heal ourselves from the Creator and those that assist us. When you have something that physically ails you, you know, you always have to find out what the emotional connection is, because the doctors may be able to fix it temporarily, Western speaking, the Western way. However, if you don't heal it emotionally, it comes back. And so it's very important to deal with things emotionally so that they don't return. And once you understand that, and that you understand we can heal ourselves, the power of our spirit. See, people think, oh, let me be very intelligent in my conscious mind, or, you know, men have a tendency to do that, or women are more in their hearts. The truth is, we are all supposed to be in our higher self, letting our higher self dictate to us what it will be, meaning our choices that we will make. And if you follow that, it will always be spot on for you. Meaning, let your intuition, the voice of spirit, the voice of the Creator, will always get you out of harm's way. That's the only reason why I'm still here. As a little girl, my parents were not religious, they were not spiritual, very dysfunctional, I'll leave it at that. And, you know, thank God I always listened, because every time I listened, it was spot on. And so I kept that connection when a lot of children lose it as they get older, like puberty and what society says, or politically, or government, or whatever, grandma, religion, whatever you want to say. And they go, oh, that's nonsense. I need to, you know, go by the rules here. You follow me? So it's very important that we start letting our higher self, the voice of spirit, guide us, because it will always be right for you, or positive for you, in your best interest. Any other questions?
Did you get anything about real estate?
Real estate is a buyer's market, meaning anyone that is usually selling real estate, a lot of people are folding. Banks are folding even. Look at the airlines. I mean, you know, we used to have 20 different airlines, or 20, we'll just say 20 banks, or 20 schools, or 20 hospitals, and everyone's trying to merge, and you're only going to have a few due to the falling of these man-made systems or institutions that no longer work. For example, they keep building jails. There's no rehabilitation in that. It's another racket. It literally is another big business, believe it or not. And anyone that's done their homework on that knows that. There's no rehabilitation in there. Where is the you know, as a humanitarian, like I'll donate my books to jails, libraries, hospitals, things like that, because I see what they do there, and it's just shocking. But going back to real estate, people are trying to, like, some areas are getting hit harder. New York is basically kind of pretty much, they're really holding, you guys are holding your own right now. I mean, you're getting affected, but you're holding your own. Other places in the United States are getting hammered. People are foreclosures. They can't move their house. People that are in real estate to sell, they can't sell it because people are acting out of fear right now, fear and darkness, and they're embracing the fear, and they're like, you hold on to my money, and you know, those that have money, and even those that don't, you know, people are just being, and if you keep coming from fear, right, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, fear, fear, fear. What you fear is what you create, unfortunately. Easier said than done, I know. Because I always, you know, even I will catch myself going, wait a minute, is that positive for me or anybody else? No. Can I delete it? Can I take it back once you think it or you say it or you do it? No. But you can always, I believe, redeem yourself, redemption. And by, you know, let's say if I send a negative thought out, right, to the universe, which I'm accountable for, then I will say, well, I can't take that thought back, but I can neutralize it by sending out positive and then positive and positive. But I would not, I feel bad for people that are in real estate, because those that are trying to sell are having a heck of a time, because it's a buyer's market, and that has to do with the economy and the recession. They're just now declaring recession when we've been in a recession, heading for a depression at this point. And then now they're finally starting to talk about depression. And that's the reality of it, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean that that's going to apply to all of you individually. It doesn't mean that you are going to have to be poverty-stricken in the streets. No. It's what you make of this, honestly.
But if the stock market's going to crash and not exist anymore.
I didn't say it wouldn't exist anymore.
And cities are going to be bad places to be.
It's certain cities, yes.
So isn't New York going to be a bad place to be?
Well, let me put it to you like this. I wouldn't want to live here. So I say that only because New York is a big business, you know, the stock market, all that. Like, look at 9/11. It gets hit, the city gets hit. So it's definitely, you know, something to think about. You know, I always tell people, for example, listen, I still have to, like everyone else, I have to work, you know. I'm kind of not, I'm in the city, but I'm kind of on the outskirts. But honestly, I'm on a mission right now to find someplace outside of the country that is safe, that I can do these things that Spirit is, you know, the information they've given me, and live it and do this. And I have literally been on a search because I know the future. I'm trying not to go real far out there on you, otherwise, you know, I'm gonna lose you. But that is a personal decision. You know, and then also for some of you that live here, it's not to say that every single human being here in New York City is going to drop dead. No. Again, it has to do with your belief system and are you prepared and what is your contract, because is it your death date? You know, let's look at this. We do have guardian angels that are working overtime. We do have help that is trying to protect us. Look at 9/11. There were people that never missed a day of work in their life, but that day they didn't go to work because everything in their being told them no, or they got ill, or their whatever it was, intervention from spirit, and it spared their life even though that happened. Right? So was it a disaster? Yes. But however, some people did not get affected by it because they were listening to their higher self, their intuition. And they were guarded. For example, I live part-time in Florida, and we get hurricanes all the time. And the water tables are up. It's insane. And I have written this, predicted this to say that South Florida, actually even going to the Keys, Homestead, South Florida, even going up to like maybe as far as Okeechobee, but it's not that far, we'll be underwater. But it won't be just one hit, it'll be a series of hits, you follow me, with weather. So what, do I want to stay in Florida? No. But this is, you know, going out there again. So you take the precautions. But what I started to say is, the last hurricane that we had, I was in California. I was supposed to fly back to Florida and come back, and the hurricane came, and Shantae and I, we were in a hotel with air conditioning, room service, quite comfortable, while, you know, Miami, Fort Lauderdale was getting hammered. However, the home that I have in office wasn't touched. The only thing that happened was the electricity was off for 2 weeks, and the food had to be thrown out, and that's it. But that has to do with your belief system and faith and utilizing prayer. When I get news of a hurricane, I don't go, oh God, it's a hurricane. Oh! I start praying. And I get people together and say, let's pray, join our forces, and let's direct that storm back out to sea where it doesn't touch land or any people. And we can change that by utilizing the tool of prayer. Powerful, isn't it? You guys ready for messages? Always. Okay, let me start with you, my dear. Yes, you. Mm-hmm. Do you have a question? Do you want a message?
Yeah, well, I'd like to know what's going to happen with me. Of my life.
Okay, be more specific. In what area?
Entertainment.
Oh, honey, you were born for entertainment. You know that. Matter of fact, that's your saving grace. For you to go back into what you have done, and you do, and it is you, it's your soul, makes you happy. First of all, artists don't get enough credit as far as I'm concerned. Because artists create joy. They bring joy to people. And God knows we need all the joy that we can get right now. And so when I see somebody that can sing and touches my soul and moves me, that is a gift from someone like you. But you're being inspired by a higher source. It's a form of also channeling. And right now we need all the joy in artists. I'm like, bring more artists in. Let's have more music, more positive movies, dancing, you know, singing, shows, you know, all of this. What about, how many of you have read a book and it's changed your life? Right? How many have you ever heard someone perform and sing and it just touched you in a way, you know, right? So that's your mission. That's who you are. That is what you do. It's not just to you. It's not a job. It's a love. You love that.
I had a recent experience, went back to Nassau, and although I have arthritis, the minute I got on stage with my impersonation,
There, hello.
and I heard music,
You just started moving.
didn't need this,
Hey, see?
just help up the stage.
So that's your medicine. That's your medicine. Your medicine is your mission statement, which is the arts and performing, because you do it. It's authentic. It is you. And you bring joy to others. So get back to moving those feet, my dear, and performing. And that is going to be your saving grace. And also, not only for you, but it's going to touch others. Thank you. Yes?
Okay, will I be able to gather in my children and
Yes.
Keep them safe, away from the negative stuff they're in front of, directly in front of. And will they follow me and understand what I'm doing?
They will. They will. You'll have a little bit of, complaining and questioning, but they'll come together. You'll come together as a family unit. And, again, we underestimate sometimes our own children, period. They sometimes are more aware of what's going on than we are because they're not caught up in all the programs or distractions yet, socially speaking or on any other levels. So, yes, in your case, absolutely, you will. So have faith, know that, and act on that.
And we'll succeed.
And succeed, absolutely. Because as gloomy and doomy as it sounds, right, and it is, you will take the necessary precautions and do what you can and gather, and you will be fine. But if they see fear in your eyes, then we mirror to one another. So if they see fear, then they're going to get fearful. You see? But if you're strong and have faith, for me, it's not just faith. People, you say in religion, oh, I have faith. No. For me, it's not just faith. It is a conviction. It is a certainty. It is a knowing that I don't care if the whole world said, oh, I know it with my soul, every fiber of my being. And when you have that and you stand strong like that, you're almost invincible in a sense. So know that and work with Spirit. Spirit is our best friend. And when we start, working with universal laws and tools, hence my next book, which is coming out called The Sacred Code, no one can say, when that book comes out, The Secret was a big deal, remember? I don't know why it was such a big deal, because it ain't a secret. But it was like mainstream, I guess, so that's why it kind of shifted the consciousness. But however, this book, The Sacred Code, here's the universal laws. We're not talking about religion, right? Spirituality. Here's the tools. You got everything you need now. Now apply them to your life and live them, and you're good to go. And no one's going to be able to say, well, I don't know what to do, Michelle. That's why I'm writing this book. That's why it's almost done. That's why it's coming out now. The timing is interesting. It was supposed to have come out last year. But that, is kind of like, let's say a recipe for a great dinner, right? But you have to write it down. This is really kind of like your little manual instructions that have nothing to do with man-made religion, but the universe. And when you follow that, then believe me, you can't get any better than that. But you got to live it. It's work. Listen, I know everybody's waiting for the pharmaceutical companies. I can't, but I'm going to say it again. Everybody's waiting for that little pill that's going to come out and say, you are spiritually enlightened. And it's not going to happen. And if you do buy that pill and believe it, you're wasting your money, and God knows what's in it. It's probably a sugar pill. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? I'm using it as an analogy because, that's the other thing that I want to address. That's another racket. Oh, well, you're not happy? Well, we got a pill for that. Antidepressants. Oh, you can't sleep? Well, we got a pill for that. Oh, they got a pill for everything. It is a big business. And we get so, medicated, right, that we get numb and desensitized that we're walking around like puppets on strings. And that medicine is just, it's not going to fix it. It's like if you have a wound, you put a Band-Aid on it, but the wound is not healed. So, have you ever watched TV late? Like, it's even earlier now. I try not to watch it, because I get aggravated. Oh, this pill, take this, and then you hear the side effects. The side effects are worse than, I hear, you'll go nauseousness, dizziness, headaches, diarrhea, blindness. I'm like, good God, I'm going to die taking that stuff. Why would anybody in their right mind take that stuff? The side effects are worse than whatever you're dealing with, so, prayer, meditation, healing, knowing that you're worthy of that healing. That medication is just a way to kind of keep you on automatic pilot,
Every time I hear those ads, I bless whoever it was that got the law passed that they have to tell you what the side effects are.
Well, yes, that's true. I do agree with you in that sense, but still, You know, listen, sometimes medication is needed, but we really, again, need to look at where this illness, where is it coming from, the emotional connection. Let's heal it, and let's heal it where it doesn't reoccur. But, you know, there are a lot of great healers out there, but you cannot be healed. You can have the greatest healer in the world, but you cannot be healed unless you feel that you are worthy of that healing and allow that healing to occur. That's the truth. Good, Manna?
Messages. I just want a message.
I know, I want you to ask me a specific question when we're in group.
Okay, health. Just in general.
Well, you know, again, you're very sensitive. So, you know, I mean, I got a little baby rush right now. I was doing the reading. She goes, "Oh, how do you look so young?" I was like, oh, "Good God, do I look that bad on the cover of my books?" and she, and I know she didn't mean it. She goes, "Good God, you look so young, and you have like a baby face. How do you do that?" I go, "I don't know. It's spirit. Spirit keeps you young." But, you know, right now, I don't even know. I have this little, like, baby rash on my face. I can't even explain it because I'm so sensitive. And, you know, there's so many toxic things out there one way or another. And I'm sensitive to energy, so they affect me. You know, and this is why I go through a great lengthy prayer, you know, the Metatron prayer. And listen, guys, and I want to say that for all of you that are here. If you go to my website, Shantae, what page is the Metatron? Special appearances, that's the page, and on the bottom it says the word Metatron. Click on, and you'll get the Metatron prayer. It's a protective and abundant prayer with instructions. And I say this, if you guys don't get it, and you need somebody to walk you through it, I always tell, you know, everybody, call the office, one of the girls will walk you through it. If you utilize that prayer, I'm telling you that even for me, has made such a difference. Even as a spiritual medium, utilizing prayer since childhood. This prayer was given to me from the Archangel Metatron that scribes and speaks for God, that works with sacred geometry. And even since I was originally given that information, which I asked permission to share that, it was, there's been additions to that prayer. Because the necessity, rather, of this prayer, the emergency of the affairs of the world, we'll say, and the people. So print that out and utilize it. And, you know, what do you have to lose, right? You'll see. But again, never pray. If you don't believe, forget it. You're done. Sugar, I'm running out of time. All right. So for you, it's about sensitivity. And that, you know, about your environment, and you need to shield yourself. You know that Metatron prayer, and utilizing that, all right? And I don't pick up on anything else other than just emotionally, mentally stressed. Quick, I was told I got 15 minutes because of my long-winded mouth. Go.
All right, I need to move, so I need to know where is my next home going to be.
Yeah, but you want to move out of the city. Never? Okay, let me put it to you like this. You'll move, and then you'll move again. Sometimes just, you know, Manhattan, you know, I've been upstate New York. It's pretty there. It's beautiful there. Look at that face. You're asking me when will you move from where you are now?
No, where?
Oh, where? About 2 months, 3 months tops, right? Yeah, about 2 months, 3 months. You're going to move actually right in the same neighborhood that you are. You're going to move. But I'm going to say this again. You're going to move, and then you're going to move again. But we'll one move at a time, right? So the answer is you're literally going to move within a matter of your own zip code, you know, blocks. Okay? So don't even fret on that. I would say in the next, I heard a couple of months, so the next 2 months.
No, you said I'll move, then I'll move again.
Yeah, but let's worry about the first move. First move is what I told you, and then you'll move again. I'll leave it at that because you're stuck on where you are, so that's okay. You'll see it on your own terms.
I'm a Manhattan resident in part because I don't drive and have a vision issue, so it would be unlikely I'd be able
Just
to
ask
drive.
me the question, please.
So where would I be able, do you see me moving out of Manhattan?
No.
Because of that?
No, I don't see you moving out of Manhattan.
Okay. Do you see,
Again, you guys, one specific question, because everybody wants, and I had a lot of message, you know, information, and they're going to throw me out of here in about 15 minutes. So one.
I was concerned about what sort of line of work I will be in, what I studied.
You should have been a teacher. Education is anything under education and was your true mission statement or calling. And you're in an office environment.
No.
Because I see you in an office environment.
Oh, I will be?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say like a secretary, because it's not just that, you know, but this is something that is a job for you. It's an income, and you're good at it, organizing and doing what you need to do. So it's an office type of job. But what you really should have done, which falls under education also, was anything in teaching. Even, you know, there are different things, counseling, grief therapy, psychologists, spiritually, anything in that. That was what your original and your mission in this incarnation was, what you wrote in your contract. But that's okay, because I always say it's never too late. Sometimes we can teach in other ways, just by your example or the wisdom that you have gleaned, that you utilize. That true power is knowledge and the discernment of that knowledge. So take that, what you know, and those that are willing to be open to it, share it. All right? But you will have a job before the year is out, and it's in an office environment. Yes.
A potential job change in the new year, and I'm also doing holistic work on the side. What is the timeline?
Well, okay, ask me that question again. I'm sorry.
I'm asking about a potential job change that I'm looking into in the new year.
Okay.
Do you know timeline, and I'm also doing holistic work on the side.
Well, what Spirit's showing me is that you're trying to merge. Like, you know, you're doing, what you really should be doing is the holistic, the work. That is your, like what I was saying to her, that's your true calling. You are so, I remember you. You, and I see a lot of people, so that's a compliment. You have a very giving, loving, sensitive, compassionate soul. Sensitive as well, very intuitive. And people feel safe with you. They feel that they can trust you to speak, you know, to relate, that you will relate. You don't judge. And that's something that you should be doing. However, I find that usually the best healers have been to hell and back, and that's what makes them good healers. But we have to heal ourselves in order to do healing. So Spirit's trying to get you to understand your own worth and to heal so that you can heal and go into holistic full time. That is what you're to do. And so they're kind of playing hardball with you now, all right? Meaning they're like, stop fearing it and go. Take a leap of faith. Go for it. Because when you're doing what your mission statement is, not only, you know, will you be good at it and joyful, and you'll do, you know, you'll be successful and you'll be abundant. And that's the key of great success. How many people have a job they hate? I hate my job. I hate my job. I hate my job. Well, if you hate your job, then change your job. You know, work should not be like work. It should be something that you love, because when you love it and it's, you know, it's what you've always, it's not work. You just make it look like it's so easy and natural, and you're a success. And, you know, and it's just a wonderful domino effect. So please, you're worthy of that. Do it, all right? Okay. Love? Boy, you're a hard-headed woman. I got to tell you, you go for these men, the same guy every time. Here's a lesson. I would tell you tonight or in the next week or whatnot to sit down, quiet yourself, your mind, pray, meditate, and make a list of the qualities, the attributes, things that you are looking for in a mate. I want you to really think about that, pray about that, and then look at that. It's kind of like placing your order. And, you know, you're going to be, this is what I want to say about prayer. People sometimes are general. When you're general, that's what you get back. When you ask for love, you get a dog. It shows up at the door. When really you were looking for a mate. Okay, you ask for a mate, but it's a karmic relationship. How about a soul mate, or rather a kindred spirit? So be specific in your prayer. Put that out to the universe and divine timing. But right now, you need to heal yourself. You need to find the lesson in your previous relationship so that you don't take that baggage into the next relationship. And yes, you will. You will, but not anytime soon, meaning it's not like now, 6 months, a year from now, because you got to work on you and get into a better space so that when you're in that relationship, you can hold that space in place with that person. That's either a soulmate or a kindred spirit, which is the next thing best to it. Got it? Okay. You're next.
Please tell me about my career.
Jackie, could you say that again?
Could you please tell me about my career?
Okay. Meaning in what? Meaning what you're going to do, or what you want to do, or what you're doing? I don't understand the question. I'm asking for specific questions.
What I should be doing. Do you get any sense of what my contract is?
Money is not to be your issue in this lifetime, I can tell you that. You have a strong mind, and you have a strong will, and you know what you want. And that's half the battle. A lot of people don't know what they want, so they procrastinate, they waver. You know what you want. You're not going to settle. When you have a strong mind and a strong will, and you are a co-creator of your reality, you manifest it, my dear. But be careful what you think, because sometimes our thinking is not always positive towards self or others. But know that you have a gift of manifesting things very rapidly. And I don't see your career being an issue at all, to be honest with you. And I don't see money being an issue with you. And you know, I'm a straight shooter. I don't hold back, as you can see. And I don't stroke people's egos. So I pretty much tell it like I get it, like I said. And if I don't know, I tell you that. But these things that you're asking me are not even an issue for you. So why are you asking?
So I've been sort of in and out of work and trying different. I mean, I've always been pretty stable, knowing what I want, manifesting. Like
that's what I'm saying. Exactly what I just said. So the only thing that
but the last few years haven't been that for me. So now
you're getting back on your yeah. For you, when everybody else is having their butts handed to them, you're on a roll. So good for you. All right. Don't worry about that, because it's not. You've already been there, done that. So just be who you are, true to yourself, and you'll have a smile, and you'll walk around. People will come to you. What do you got? How'd you get that? I want some of that. So you can set an example to others, and breaking the cycle of poverty,
Do you see that as part of my mission?
Yeah, by of course, by, you're setting example. Look, when everyone else, I'm doing okay against, right, co-create of your reality. Absolutely. All right.
Michelle, do you see an earth angel that can help me with my water project?
Hold on. Ariel, which governs the first level of heaven called paradise, utopia, also assists in earthly things of the elements, or what I call the earth angels or animal totems. The UK we call them the fairy kingdom. You, my dear, I have been drawn to your energy since I've been in here. You are truly, truly a beautiful, beautiful soul. You are a very old soul. You're very evolved spiritually. You already got the answers. You know the truth. You live it. And the rest of your time here on this earth is to be a blessing to you, to be easy. You've earned it. And you have a beautiful aura, and people just look at you and they get in your energy because it feels good. And, you're rare. You're a rare breed. You're almost a lost breed, You've been ahead of your years for years. Whatever you want you'll bring about. You live your life like a prayer. So God bless you. You have a beautiful soul. It's nice to see another light worker out there. All right. Okay, where am I at now? Let's go down the rows quickly. Yes, you.
Okay, what's my mission statement, and does it include the
Okay, well, one question at a time. So, yes, thank you. Your mission statement is for work, which isn't really work. It's, again, this is what I want to do, which is under the arts. You are very charismatic. You speak your mind. You love attention, and that's not a bad thing. And really don't limit yourself. The arts is definitely what you wrote in this contract. You've known it since you were a little girl. Do it. Because you'll do it and it will be like people look at you and go, God, that she's a natural. How does she do that? And you'll fine tune it and polish it. But don't limit yourself just to one thing in the arts. Be diverse. Singing, dancing, acting, you know, there's a variety of things. And go with where your intuition guides you and what feels right. All right? So you will do very well, my dear.
I was told by another psychic that I'll meet in 2 years a woman much younger than me. I wanted to confirm that.
Was it, who was it?
I want to come here. Comment on it.
Yeah, no. Okay, so ask me the question. You were told?
That I will meet a woman much younger than me. Probably 2 years from now.
You know, time's a tricky thing with spirit, you know, because as I said, my idea of soon is yesterday. Today, tomorrow, a few weeks, maybe a few months, and then I'm done. So when spirit says soon I've learned with them could be anywhere out from 6 months, a year to like 3 years. That's not soon to me. I told you, remember? It will have to be all or nothing. And I'd go out a little bit further, to be honest with you. You'll meet someone and you'll, you know, whatever you want to say, so date or whatnot. But the someone, I feel, is a little bit longer out. Don't settle. You won't. You know, we discussed this. All right? And by the way, free will, I'm one that I will hold back as far as giving people a timeline. Because you guys have free will. You can draw something in, right, even quicker. And then you can actually miss the opportunity to push things out and make it longer because of your free will and the choices that you make. So for anyone to give you an exact time, that's difficult, you know. It's going to be on your time and divine timing. All right? Yes, sir.
Okay, so I know my mission, my passion. I'll make this brief. I know it through my own adversity, my own growing up. My mission is to be inspirational in my own way. I'm a psychotherapist. I own a mental health clinic. I do past life regression, and I'm working on my second book. So this is the kind of thing in terms of what you were talking about in terms of finding the right guide, because everybody basically is coming into this life with their obstacles, their traumas, and I want to be inspiring in my own way like you do. And I've written my books to do the same thing, to spread that kind of inspiration and be a light worker. The specific question is, you know, I know what marketing is all about and all that, and we all hear about that, but who exactly should I be contacting to let people know that the inspiration is out there? Even if you're not in therapy, there is a book you can pick up that may make all the difference, because I've had that experience.
Okay, I got, like, they're coming to ask me, hit me with a direct question.
Okay, who should I contact to let this book get out there? I've been on TV, I've done the work,
It's not who you can contact, it's not you, they're going to contact you. Okay. That opportunity, I do not know. All I know is spirit in the next, I'd say, 6 months to a year, you're going to have the right person at the right time, say, okay, back you up, support you, make that contact, and golden. And you'll continue to write books. And you'll continue to do what you love. And you do it good, you do it. You do a great job. God bless you. You're golden. Your time, you're about to cash in, all right? Yes?
Will I stay where I am living now, or will I move?
You will move, but not right now. And I know you're kind of like, you know, a creature of habit, but it will be a good move. Okay, not this year, though. All right? Is that everybody? Except, one more, and I'm done.
What's my life path? What should I do? What work should I do?
Healing. Whether that's Western or Eastern, if you're smart, you'll combine both. All right? You guys have been great. Thank you. God bless you. Bless you. Make it a different future, guys, right?
Thank you.